M0FXB, welcome back to my Mazzy dog walks. It's very wet and soggy here. If you look around here. So we're walking Mazzy. She's got her head down. She doesn't really like the rain, to be honest. Anyway, let's talk ham radio and or mobile phone. Because let's face facts, we could just use our mobile phones. We don't need to spend thousands of pounds or a lot of time learning how to use a ham radio, especially an advanced ham radio. We can just pick up our phones. So why? Why bother? Why bother with ham radio? Why bother with any kind of radio when we can use our mobile phone, which I'll just remind people, our mobile phone is a radio. Always remember that. There's so many people that say the not real radio comment. Well, right now I'm on 4G. And even if I was on Wi-Fi is a radio signal. I'm on 4G between this phone, 4G, 5G, and a mast, whether it's near me or far away from me. I am using a radio. The earliest ever mobile phones were radios, big brick radios with old-fashioned batteries. So I'll tell you why bother. I could go to the shop now and buy some nice cod, yeah? Some nice cod. Cook it, if you like it, or buy a real fish from a pet shop and bring it home, and I'll have this fish swimming around in my tank. I don't have to go fishing, yeah? Why do people go fishing? To catch fish? Because it's a hobby. Why do people, go rock climbing or canoeing, kayaking, collect stamps? It's a hobby, and that is what this is all about. And so often I feel like people forget this is a hobby. Even people using the hobby, whether it's ham radio, CB, scanner, listening to scanner, they forget it's a hobby for enjoyment. The amount of messages I have to delete because people take things too seriously, and they might start swearing, and they might be rude, they might tread into territory which is definitely not acceptable to be repeated or read by anyone, and not appropriate. So the answer is, many of us in the 70s became very interested in communication, whether it was a walkie-talkie, a CB, an illegal walkie-talkie CB, and we just like having this device. For example, the Cobra type CB, silver front, lots of knobs and buttons, LEDs flashing, and when you keyed up, because don't forget, in those days you didn't have mobile phones, you keyed up, and if your friend had one just up the road from you, probably on the same street as you, because in those days they did, yeah, you could speak to them, and it was fun. Get a cup of tea, coffee, maybe on a Friday and Saturday night, a few bottles of beer, chat away. Eventually this built into communities of people, and we had the CB clubs. And I'll tell you now, we did have a lot of CB clubs around the world, but I can only talk about the UK, and they would meet up at different locations. They would call it some sort of eyeball, and people still meet up now with ham radio, but they tend to have a ham radio club that's going to be in some sort of social club, a meeting function room establishment. You get together, you don't just talk radio. Of course radio comes up often. People bring their radios, they bring their walkie-talkies, but we talk about everything. We talk about the shopping, the news, what we did that day, because in the end it's a hobby for communication. And some of the equipment is fantastic, and yes, are we addicted to tech? Too right we are. Do we buy way too many radios, and after 30 years, 40 years, we've got a silly amount of radios, and we say to ourselves, oh, that's a waste of money, but it's not, because it's the enjoyment you've got knowing you can pick up that device whenever you want and use it. And these radios do pretty much, I know I shouldn't say forever, but they feel like they will last forever, as long as you don't, transmit with a high SWR, with the powerful, its highest level, transmit or lock the PTT by accident, as long as you treat the device reasonably sensory, because they'll take quite a hammering, these radios. Even the budget ones, you can drop them and they still work, yeah? Your Bofang and Quashang type radtail things, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with them. And So I don't ever think, oh, I've got 20 radios, I need to sell them so I can have an extra £500 in the bank, because paper, you know, I know money's important, of course, you only ever do what you can afford, always, yeah? But money is just paper, it's just numbers, remember that. Where a radio, you'll pick it up, you tune frequencies, you can listen to airband, marine band, ham radio, you can go on scanners, you can decode data and all kinds of stuff. So, you know, in summary, why bother? Because it's a hobby, and I'm interested in technical devices, technical gadgets, the radio spectrum, the propagation of the radio waves, whatever size, whether it's ultra Wi-Fi or 80 meters, which is a massive wave that bounces around the planet, enhanced by the ionosphere. You know, it's just, and then antennas, the fascination that you get this antenna and you cut it to a certain size, and then other radios on a certain frequency can receive that, you know, when you transmit. I mean, it's fascinating, and there's so much more to the hobby. And also just, you know, just tinkering in general with gadgets. It's a hobby, people just like it. So thanks a lot. Keep enjoying your hobby. Please stay positive. When you get that urge to send a message that's not very kind, or you might watch a video and you want to pick holes in that video, because I get that a lot. People, they watch, you know, a 20-minute video and they find, oh, in 1 second of that video I might have got something wrong or incorrect. They can't wait to message and go, oh yeah, you got that wrong, you know, like, shut up, leave me alone. Watch the video, enjoy the good bits, constructively, if there's any point to it, constructively bring up some comments. Bye for now. 7-3.